onto the job. This is what I'm going to do. Personal capacity.
Okay.
Am I getting support from managers? Am I getting support from my peers, my supervisor? Does my supervisor even understand the training? Or he was there and then HR said he should let me attend this training.
Okay.
So these are some of the things that we try to look at pre-training and even during the training, the active participation of the trainees, so that at the end of the day, the post-training will result in impact. The overall goal is performance and impact.
And that is the work of a certified transfer designer.
Right.
I see. But is this certification recognized globally?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's recognized globally.
Okay.
Yes.
But how rare is this particular qualification in Africa?
Well, in Africa, we have the first certified transfer designer in Nigeria, Sandra, and I happen to be the first in Ghana.
Ghana. Let me clap for you.
Thank you.
Wow. Yes. But why do you think we haven't had one until now? I mean specifically in Ghana.
Well, I would say we are now focusing our attention. There is the Kirkpatrick model, which also sees to evaluation of training to ensure training is impactful.
Yeah.
But for the transfer designer, I think in Africa we are now making a voice around it to ensure that we strategically position ourselves to ensure training transfer effectiveness.
I see. So essentially this moves us from training for attendance to training for results.
Impact, yes. Just having attendance certificate, but rather having an action plan that you'll be able to transfer the knowledge onto the job. Right.
And you are the first certified transfer designer in Ghana.
Yes. Please.
Wow. Congratulations once
Thank
again.
you
Now
very
let's focus
much.
on you. What does that mean to you personally?
Well, I'm thrilled to be part of a global community that is championing transfer effectiveness.
Okay.
I have always had an issue with just organization of training.
Right.
We organizing trainings, then what? At the end of the day, what happens? So for me, this is very fulfilling that we can now make the noise around ensuring the transfer effectiveness, getting management to understand and appreciate the fact that you don't just organize trainings.
Right.
You should be more interested in the part, as well as even the trainees, the attendees who are attending the training. They should be interested to have an action plan that they take back onto the job to be able to perform on the job. It shouldn't just be attendance.
Right.
So this is, for me, a very fulfilling moment and a proud moment for me, because we're going to make the voice around this. We're going to champion it to ensure that right from the top, there's that appreciation or that realization that we don't just organize training for the numbers, but we organize training for impact.
And it's obvious this particular training or this certification has changed how you see corporate training. I mean, from the way you are speaking, I can tell.
Yes, it's always been a challenge for me because I've been in the L&D space for quite a while.
Wow.
And I've also seen organizations just organizing trainings without deliberately or intentionally ensuring that the training that they are giving will be impactful.
Right.
Yes.
I see. So was there any moment during your learnings, I mean, when you were going through a training where, I mean, you had a mindset shift?
Of course. Even right from enrolling onto the certification program, I was excited because it was going to give me a platform or an opportunity to learn a lot, and then to also be able to position myself as a specialist in this field. Because I've been in the L&D space, we organize trainings and all that, but now that drive to push training from organizing to impact has increased. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So what does that mean generally for the HR space and also the learning space for Ghana?
Yes, so that is why we're making the noise about not just organizing training. And let me use this opportunity to talk about the Ghana Learning and Development Network, which is GLADNET, a network that has brought together learning and development professionals in Ghana, as well as HR persons who are who undertake training related activities in their various organizations. Our goal is to make so much noise about this transfer effectiveness. So for corporate Ghana, I'm looking at HR and L&D professionals being intentional about training for impact, training for results, and not just organizing trainings just to exhaust the training budget or to present a report to management that within the year we organize XYZ number of trainings. What has changed after the training is our focus.
Is the focus.
Yes.
Right. And I don't think this is even just limited to HR trainings and all of that. I think it cuts across several aspects of our fabric as a society. You know, even government, you see that government organizes conferences. We don't know the impact. At the end of the day, we just attend. We are excited, all the speeches and all of that. So I think this is actually something very good.
And then we have what we call the training tourism, which is very common in our part of the world, where we take people abroad just to attend trainings. And then they come back, what happens? So much investment in the per diems, in everything. And then at the end of the day, what do we see when they come back? That is what we want to see. We want to see impact. We want to see results. We want to ask ourselves, is the training even needed? There could be some problems at the organization that training is not even the solution. Remember, the goal is performance. So it might not be organizing training that will solve the problem. It might even be resources to work with. It might even be support from management. It might even be a toxic workplace culture that is impeding performance. So we need to look at all these things to be able to ensure that there's workplace performance at the highest level.
So a certified transfer designer will probably then be involved in the before, the during, and the after, isn't it?
You had it right. It is pre, during, and post-training. Yes.
Wow. So maybe we have some time. So let's. How would you typically design something like that? You know, maybe if you can help us.
Right. So it's basically starts with engagement.
Okay.
What do we want to achieve as a first start?
Right.
An organization wants to organize training. The question is, why do we want to organize this training?
The training.
What is in it for us? How is the training aligned to our organizational goals? What do we want to achieve? Then we're looking at the line managers, because remember, training is not the sole responsibility of L&D managers or HR managers. You need to work hand in hand with the line managers. You need to work hand in hand with supervisors, because at the end of the day, they have a critical role to play to ensure that there's that transfer that we are talking about. So engagement is the first start. The objective clarity of expectations at the end of the day. Do we have opportunities for applications? That is, are there resources? The trainees themselves, do they know what the trainees seek to do for them and the organization as a whole? There are a number of factors. The content of the training, the knowledge that we are giving, is it even relevant to the participant attending the training, or the person is just attending for attendance sake? There might be people who might be at training, but they have committed what we call training suicide. They are just there attending the training, body present, but mind and soul absent. They are just there. And for a trainer or a facilitator, as we call it, if you're facilitating a training and you realize that people are not really aligned with you, you have failed. That means the training is not even being impactful from the during stay, because people are absent. So you need to be intentional. And I happen to have undertaken a facilitation course, so I know that in facilitating a training, you need to get active participation from the participants. That will transfer onto the post. You need to let them even believe in themselves, whether they'll be able to apply the knowledge that they have acquired. They need to be able to say that I will dedicate time. Even in the course of my work, when I go back onto the job, I will dedicate time to ensure that this new knowledge that I've acquired, I'll be able to apply. And remember, when you're attending training, it's an opportunity to unlearn, relearn, and learn new things. Right.
That's true. Very important. So how do you didn't talk about evaluation, which I think I was expecting. I don't know whether that is also part.
Yes. So that's why I mentioned the Kirkpatrick model.
Right.
Yes, because you are transferring the knowledge you have acquired, but at the end of the day, the impact, the evaluation, how to evaluate the training also plays a critical role.
So how do you measure?
That's where you'll be able to tell whether the training has been impactful or not. So if you're looking at the Kirkpatrick model, you're looking at the 4 levels where the reaction of the participant, you're looking at the learning behavior, you're looking at the results, and you're looking at the organizational performance. You need to ensure that what was the reaction of the participant? Did the participants really like the learning? Did they like the training? Did they learn something? What has the behavior changed? And what has been the overall result on the organization or performance in general?
Okay, great. And that will be done by a certified.
Yes, you have the role to do all that. Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's see. How can organizations prioritize training, transfer, and make it part of their culture?
Learning has to be a culture.
Right.
Learning has to be a culture in every organization. And as L&D specialists, we need to be strategically positioned in the organization. We are not supposed to be the operational bits of the organization. We need to be at the table and not on the table where we are asked, how many trainings did we organize in the year? We need to align to the organizational goals. The training that we are organizing, will it help improve or achieve the organizational goals that we have set for ourselves? So learning and development managers or specialists at the organization, we are not supposed to be operational. We are supposed to be strategic.
Okay.
We are supposed to be strategic. Be at the table. Be at the round table. Share ideas, contribute, build our business case, why we think management should invest in training. And if we are to put our case across why management should invest in training, then we should be able to show results.
Right.
We should be able to show results. If we are not showing results, our budgets will always be cut, because people see training to be very expensive, and oftentimes training is really expensive. The bit about training that is a very expensive, I was just discussing with a colleague of mine on my way here, is the food bit. You go for training and you have to eat, snack, lunch. Those are very expensive.
That's true.
You know, that's why people even see training as a waste of time and waste of resources, because we are not showing the return on investment and return on expectation. People go to training, they come back, and then it's business as usual. What has changed? What has changed is very critical for us. What has changed?
Very important.
It is very critical for us.
Start talking about solutions. I mean, these are things, I'm sure there are HR professionals listening to us this morning who are getting some things from that. What do you think a supervisor should do immediately after a training?
Right. So even before the training, the supervisor needs to understand and appreciate why his or her supervisor is going for the training. He needs to have some level of knowledge about the training. Right. For certified transfer design, some of the strategies that we are proposing is when people go for training, they need to have an action plan. They need to have a transfer agreements that are signed even by the supervisors. So when you go back on the job, you have that transfer agreement that you have outlined that you are going to do A, B, C, D. So that a copy is given to the supervisor signs on it, and it becomes a monitoring tool for the supervisor to be able to tell whether there's been a change in the behavior or it's business as usual. So a supervisor should be well informed about the pre-training and then post the training. The supervisor is supposed to take key interest in the action plan that the trainee has developed and be able to monitor performance, because at the end of the day, he will be the person to say that there's been a change or not a change. He is more of an accountability partner than anyone else.
Right. Okay, so our time is almost up, and so we'll touch on maybe 2 more things and then we can go. Now, I want us to think long term. You know, how can organizations actually make training transfer part of their culture?
That is why this certification has come to play a big role. We're looking at ensuring that a lot of L&D or HR professionals get to understand and appreciate this transfer effectiveness that we are advocating for. How can organizations make training transfer effectiveness as part of their organizational culture or their learning culture? It starts from the top. The management. If you have a CEO who is very interested in impact of training, he would put the pressure on you to show results. So we want to start from the top, and that is what GladNet we're looking at. Part of our interventions is to even engage CEOs, have a CEO's breakfast meeting where we talk to them about transfer effectiveness. Because if they understand and appreciate that as an organization, this is how much we are investing in training, this is what we want, our staff need to be trained and retrain, which is a compliance for us. Then at the end of the day, what are the results that we are getting? How has it impacted on our organizational success? What has been the growth rate for us? So making it part of the learning culture, we need to get the CEOs, the management, to really appreciate and understand this area that we are advocating for, the training transfer effectiveness.
So essentially, it's not about adding more training. It's about fixing some of the things that are in there.
Yes, we do the trainings all the same, but the trainings can be very successful. Oh, how was the training? Oh, it went well. Oh, the facilitators were good. Oh, the knowledge given was very good. But at the end of the day, they leave the room, back to the work. What happens? They have even forgotten. There's a forgetting curve. The knowledge that they acquired, they've forgotten because they were not intentional with an action plan that if I go back onto the workplace, the knowledge, the skills, abilities that I acquired, I'll be able to transfer it onto the job.
Okay. Well, let's wrap up by bringing this home. What is one thing you wish every Ghanaian professional knew about maximizing the impact of training?
Going for the training, attending the training. Every professional needs to ask him or herself, if I leave this training room, what will I do differently? What is the takeaway for me? What am I going to apply? Knowledge acquired without application is ignorant. Because you have acquired knowledge, you go, you don't apply, you're still ignorant.
You're better off not attending at all.
Exactly. So for every professional who would attend a training program, you should be able to tell yourself, what am I going to do differently after this training? And it cuts across. Okay. Akosua,
right? Yeah. Yes, thank you very much for that. I don't know if you want to say something finally and then we can go.
Well, I just want to talk about the Ghana Learning and Development Network, GladNet, which we have our launch coming up on the 18th of March, 2026 at the Capital Group Limited, Latabi Okoshi. We have the Minister for Jobs, Labor and Employment to grace our event for us. And so I want to extend an invitation to all HR professionals and learning and development specialists to join forces with GladNet so we champion this cause for training transfer effectiveness.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. Madam Akosua Kyerewa Boateng is a learning and development specialist, and she's the first certified transfer designer here in Ghana. Big one there. Now, it's been a very insightful conversation. We've been speaking about the whole certified transfer designer thing that is beginning to take shape here in Ghana. And she said a lot of things. If there's one takeaway from her conversation, we have to change the way we do trainings in this country, and not just this country, but in our corporate spaces generally. So if you're a business and you're listening to us this morning, perhaps it's time to audit not just your training budget, but the impacts of the training at the end of the day. And so that will be all for our conversation with Madam Akosua Kyerewa Boateng. We will take a quick break, and then when we return, we get into our roundtable discussion this morning. So let's take this quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Let's be honest. We all want more without paying more. That's